Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey, CGO over here at Shardeum, and today we have Mehdi, our amazing security engineering lead. Mehdi, could you give a little bit of an introduction and let us know what got you into Web3, please?
Sure. So my background is in cybersecurity and academia. I graduated with my PhD in 2019. What got me into Web3 was, I think, a reaction to my academic background, because it was a lot in critical infrastructure. So it's securing the power grid, water systems, dams, treatment facilities, things like that. And that involves a lot of old, very stable technology. Um, and Web3 is cutting edge. And I was decided to swing all the way from old to brand new and get involved in Web3. And it's been an exciting journey so far.
That's really cool, and we're glad to have you over here. And thanks for joining us today. And as security engineering lead, before we get into our top three community questions, could you share a little bit more about how the community can contribute to the security of our network over here at Shardeum?
Sure. So the security team here and the dev team in general are working very hard to make sure that the code is secure. And that means that it does exactly what it does with minimal bugs and vulnerabilities. However, there's another type of security, and that's economic security. And you as a community can help with this. Economic security involves how much it would cost for an attacker to leverage to launch an attack against the network. If there are the more nodes that are in the network, the more SHM that is staked, the more difficult it is for an attacker to quickly spin up 10,000, 20,000, however many nodes that they need to take over half of the network. So you can add to the economic security of the network by running your own node and staking your own SHM. So it's really great to participate in the network by sending SHM around and being a part of the transactions. But if you want to help the economic security, try running your own node and staking your own shim. That will help a lot. That raises the security level of the entire network.
That's great. And, to the community, you guys, I don't think have really met Anson, our colleague as well, but he'll drop some of these links in the description so you can get some of the resources around running your own node. And now on to the top three questions from the community. The first one is focused on being able to see earnings. So this person asks, I had, specific number X SHM as my node earning, but now it's showing 0. If the Shardeum team keeps records of all the data, how can I view my earnings?
Well, okay, so we've been running public testnets for quite a while. And as devs, we've kind of taken the liberty to be able to shut down a testnet as needed and restart it basically from ground zero, from scratch. And that resets everyone's SHM totals. And that way we can get accurate results from our tests about how the new version of the network is doing. And as part of that, all of your progress, I guess, or all the SHM you've collected gets reset to 0, and you need to go through the process again of collecting more. There is no current way for the community to view their previous amounts of SHM, but we're keeping track of that. When we tear down a network, we make sure we collect all the data that we need. We have it stored in an Amazon Redshift, I believe. And so it's there when we need it in the future for any analysis or anything we might do with it. But currently, there's no way for the community to see their previous totals.
Yeah, it sounds like, we hear you, and I'm sure everyone is curious to see what the longer term totals they have are, but the information does exist and it is still there and secure, and it's something that I think we can probably revisit down the line as well.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could just resume the previous network state when we create a new test net, but it's easier and gets us to mainnet quicker if we can just start from scratch.
Yes, and that is the goal. And we really appreciate everyone's patience with that. So we're just laser focused there. So thanks for riding with us when it means that sometimes you won't be able to see the historical total of your SHM. So the second one is roughly kind of looking at some timing when the faucet will be fixed, because this person is having some issues running their Shardeum node. And we know we want everyone out there running nodes when they're able to.
Yeah, the faucet.
Yes.
So I can't give you a timeline other than the faucet will be available for the incentivized testnet, and it will be so you will be able to get your node up and running for ITN. However, it's a lot of code that is just like not the priority right now, if that makes sense. Our priority is Shardeum core and the validator server and the RPC server and the archiver, all of these things that make sure the network runs smoothly. And the Faucet, it doesn't get the same level of engineering, the same level of quality assurance that the other code gets. And so it crashes a lot, and it's more susceptible to vulnerabilities and people spamming it for a lot of SHM. So it's kind of fallen by the wayside at the moment as we're pushing to ITN. Usually, a fire will pop up with the Faucet and we'll put it out. We haven't really had the space to re-engineer the Faucet to be robust. And so it breaks a lot, unfortunately. But it is on our list as an ITN blocker that this needs to be up and running for the community to get their test SHM for ITN. So it'll be up before then.
Great. Thank you for that. So it sounds like it will be resolved, but as part of the laser focus on ITN, then mainnet, it will maybe have some challenges in the immediate future, but those will be resolved in kind of the mid to longer term.
Yeah. We don't have a dedicated Faucet engineer. We fix it to get it working again and then go back to the validator code, whatever code we're working on, the important stuff.
That makes sense. And I know you all have had already a lot of long evenings and focusing on getting, to ITN as well as mainnet, and lots of working all weekend. So we really appreciate all the effort and focus there as we continue to make progress in that direction. So our last community focused question, and we'll drop this text in, of course, in the description as well. But this person says they have a specific issue, and it says, unable to access external or internal parts. Please provide proper port access to the external and internal parts of Shardeum, and 9001-10001 are the defaults. I know that's a little less exciting to hear me just read. Like I said, I'll include in the text, but we'd love to hear your thoughts on that too, Mehdi.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's a common error if it bubbled its way up into this format. So I'm sure a lot of people are already familiar with it. I would love to be able to give you the fix for this. So this error usually comes from outside of the Shardeum code, and there could be a few different reasons for it. So the fix might depend on just your situation. So I would have to sit down with each individual person to figure out exactly why they're getting this error. But in general, I can point you to some areas. This is a networking issue. Sometimes your firewall might be configured to block those ports. That's pretty common. Usually people in their everyday lives don't need 9001 or 10001 to be open. So by default, a lot of firewalls just have those closed. So I would, if I were you, look at the firewall of your computer. If you're running Windows, there's Windows Firewall. If you're running Linux, then I'm pretty sure you're probably not having this error and you know what you're doing anyway, and you can just fix it. But check the firewall, make sure those ports are open. If those ports are open on your computer, then check your router. If those ports are open on your router, then it might be an ISP issue, and you would have to call them. There's probably nothing you can do about that. You're kind of at their mercy if they're blocking those ports for you. Maybe you could try to work with changing the ports that Shardeum uses. It asks you that during the setup, what ports you want to use. It's default to 9001 and 10001, but you can experiment with trying different ports. And finally, if you don't control your network, let's say you're on a school network, maybe reach out to the network administrators. Let them know you're having this issue and what you're doing, and they might be able to help you out, open those ports. Or, of course, they could tell you that, no, we're not going to open those ports, and you might just have to find another way. So, yeah, I wish I could have one catch-all answer to fix that, but I can't. It's outside of Shardeum. It's at the network layer, so you'll have to work it out yourself.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you offered a few different routes to potentially resolve this, even though it's outside of a Shardeum issue. So we really hope that helped you all out, and that was our last question this time. Everyone, please keep asking questions. We collect from Twitter, X, Discord, all over the place. We're trying to listen and respond and get to as many of these on the videos as we can. And yeah, Mehdi, thank you so much for joining us this time.
Thanks a lot, Kelsey. It was my pleasure.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.